Hey, ℂ𝕝𝕗 here. Welcome to my journal entry. The date is the 18th of June 2023, so very recent. And I titled this entry Clouded Mind. When you experience feelings of anger, disappointment, or regret over a situation, you want to nip it in the bud. Feel it, then give an expiration time. If you allow your emotions the free will to roam about in your mind until they're good and ready to leave, your judgment will be clouded. Decision making, ideas, plans, intentions will all be affected as they are not operating in an optimum healthy space. And I've got instead, and I have an arrow to the bottom of my journal, which my journal has scripture verses on every page, and it says, let the peace that comes from Christ rule in your hearts, for as members of one body you are called to live in peace. I've got a fly annoying me. You are called to live in peace. Colossians 3:15. I remember the day I wrote this, I was having a very nice, okay day. And then I got an email from an individual that I used to be connected to, an acquaintance, a former acquaintance. And their email was incredibly rude. Well, I think it was incredibly rude. And I got equally annoyed, irritated. I had questions like, how dare you? What gives you the effrontery to speak to me in this manner? I have heard of burning of the adage that says don't burn your bridges, but I've never met anyone who burned their bridges while they were still standing on it. So my mind became clouded with the emotion of irritation and anger, and it really was just like a cyclone going round and round and round. And here's the thing, your mind is the processor for ideas. It receives an instruction from your spirit, which is the truest, deepest part of you, the part of you that's connected to God, the living, breathing part of you, spiritually. Receives an instruction from your spirit, processes it, and then passes the information to your body so that your body can take action on it. And that's the correct order of things. So the mind is also where you experience emotions. And because my emotions were negative and they were causing me some angst, it meant that every decision I had to make for the day, every intention, every plan was being colored or tainted by this one emotion of irritation. And I couldn't shake it off. I called my husband. I'm like, can you believe what this heifer wrote to me? I called my best friend. I just, was so irritated by it. And I remember sharing a previous entry a few months ago. It may have been my first or one of my very early ones, where someone had said something to my son and I was about to blow up, and God said to me, you can make this as big or as small as you want it to be. If you want to make it big, go ahead and talk about it and go on and on about it, and it will grow. If you want to make it so small that you don't even notice and it fades away, then just let it go. So I didn't take that advice then. And this particular day when I wrote this, I wasn't taking that advice either. There is something incredibly addictive about mulling over an offense, and it's the flesh. There is something about certain emotions that we know are not good for us, but we feel justified in feeling it, and we want to pronounce our justification by regurgitating the angst and talking about it and going on and on about it and replaying it in our minds. That's what I was doing. But by doing that, I was also affecting all the good stuff that should have happened that day. All the powerful decisions I should have made were tainted by this. It's not to say that I didn't make the decisions. It's just that the space in which my ideas and intentions were being formed was tainted. It was cloudy. There was no clarity. There was this filter of irritation that everything had to pass through before coming out into the outside world. So I hope that has been helpful. I'm learning to put a time limit on my emotions when they're negative, because I know that God gave us a whole breadth and variation of feelings to experience. And so the idea is not to try not to feel anger or fear or irritation, but to recognize it when it shows up and then give it an expiration time. And that's what I'm going to do the next time someone gets on my nerves, because I know that that's going to happen. Not because I'm easily offended, because I'm not, but just because we live in a world where there are just people who are, I'm not going to say the word. Have a lovely evening. Talk to you soon.